Hi guys, welcome back to episode 4 of the Four Lads podcast. We are at Ibrox following Rangers 4-0 League One at home to Hibs. Today's attendance, for those of you that are interested, 49,535. Steve, this is the new manager's first game at Ibrox. Not expecting wholesale changes in the starting 11, to be fair with the injuries and things like that we've got. It was probably not far off what we were expecting. The inclusion of Scott Wright was probably a talking point, and perhaps shows the manager's intention that he's going to play with wingers going forward. Overall, to be honest, I'm chuffed to bits with that performance. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, Sarah, listen, we're sitting here and we've just beat Hibs 4-0 and I wasn't really sure what we were going to get today. I think that's fair. There was a part of me that thought, well, what can the manager do in 4 days? You know, because he's still got the same squad and the same players, but I'm the same as you. I'm delighted with what we've saw today. I think it's the most complete performance that I've seen this season. However, it's an extremely low bar, but it doesn't mean we can't credit the players for what we've seen. Yep. Thought it was really good, really promising, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. 4 cracking goals, lots of good movements. It should have been more, and overall, a really enjoyable afternoon.
Who stood out for you overall?
Well, I'll fire this back to you in a wee second as well, but I thought Sima was great. I thought he had a really good game. I thought he finished the goal really well, his first one. He could have squared it across to Dessers, but had the mind just to drive on and really go for it, and then he fires in a lovely finish. He obviously scored the third, which was a turn and half shot, which he's finished really well. But what I liked about it, there was a lot of good driving movements down the left-hand side. He very direct, yeah. He got away from his marker lots of times. So obviously he's the obvious one, because obviously having scored a couple of goals in that, there was a couple other. But what about you? What did you think?
I quite liked Raskin. I always do. I've always had a wee bit for whatever reason, a soft spot for him. But I'll be honest, I thought the two in the midfield today maybe struggled a little bit, and I think that was partly maybe due to Lammers playing in that number 10 role, and I'm not quite sure still where he fits in that team. I'm not sure that's his best position, and I felt sometimes like Raskin and Lundstrom were maybe a yard off it. I can't remember if it was their number 14. Who always seemed to find himself free in a pocket of space. It was quite frustrating to watch during the first half, but to be fair to the wee man, what a hit as well for his goal. So Raskin for me is probably a standout as well.
Fair to say he grew into it, and fair to say the midfield grew into it as well?
Yeah, I think definitely. Just as we mentioned though, I almost felt like we were a yard off it in the first half in the middle of the park, but I think that was down to perhaps the midfield almost looking like they were a bit of a man down. I don't want to be critical because we're off the back of, let's be honest, it's been a brilliant performance. Seamer's now scored 7 goals in all competitions for us. Have you been surprised by him?
Yeah, in short, yeah, because there's times where he doesn't look like a footballer. There's times where he falls over the ball and, you know, has a terrible touch, and then there's other times where he runs in and scalps a lovely finish in, like that first goal today. And there's no criticism here. I think that he's done so well. He's really came on. He's really improved. And all of a sudden, from looking like we don't have any threat from wide, we've actually got a guy we can say, this boy's actually dangerous. And not only is he dangerous, he can finish. Yeah. He's got some cracking finishes. That third one, our third goal today, his second, is actually a lovely hooked spinning finish. So I'm really happy for him. And there's no reason why he can't really kick on and score, you know, double figures. So it's a great return so far. But I thought it wasn't not only the goals, but see the amount of running he did and the amount of times he got away from the fullback on the left wing. That really impressed me today. I thought he was my man of the match, definitely.
I think he was probably for most. It's the usual. Whoever the match sponsor was gets a player's signed shirt, don't they? So you can sometimes guess who it's going to be. Some of the goals today, like we've already discussed, were excellent. If you had to pick one, what's your favourite? I'm getting in before you, right? And I'm saying it now. The fourth goal was hands down my favourite. The reverse pass for Todd Cantwell, excellent. But see Cyril Dessers scoring, finally, I felt like a proud ma. I can't describe it as any other way. I'm willing the boy to do well here, and I genuinely felt like a proud mum watching it.
Well, it was nice because we spoke to him afterwards, and he's a very infectious character, isn't he? He's a very nice guy. He speaks well, he wants to do well, and what I like about him as well, he's quite humble. His comments afterwards, I didn't think I played anywhere near the standard that I can. There's still so much more to come from me. Yeah. Is encouraging for me. I thought he had some difficult moments during the game, but and he had a couple of half chances he didn't really get full purchase on, but his finish was class. It was a superb reverse ball, and he's just looked up, what am I going to do? And he just rolls it into the corner. So that could easily be my favourite. But let's be honest, the first goal is a terrific strike. The second goal, Raskin's goal, was a lovely finish from range as well. And the third goal was a spinning shot. So all of them have got good points in them today. To pick a favourite, I'm probably going to go with the fourth goal as well, just because I thought the reaction to it was great as well. The reaction to Desser's scoring and the cheer that he got going off, I hope that he takes that. He says it'll fill his heart. Well, I hope that takes it and he kind of drives on a wee bit for him. And he said this is a starting point for him as well. I really hope it is.
So yeah, you described it as a complete performance. Like we say, we've had spells where we've been good. Others, like, you know, for the majority of the game, we've been reasonably patchy. But today we were direct. We played with a tempo. There was movement off the ball. We had a bit of a steeliness about us as well. Like, we weren't scared to kind of put the boot in, which to me is almost like a breath of fresh air coming through the new manager.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I thought there was a difference today, wasn't there? There was more intent to the performance. There was a better pace. There was a better, I don't know, a better drive, better purpose. So I would agree with that completely. It was different today. I think purpose is the word I want to use, because see, when we played, sometimes we've been guilty, and I say sometimes, like people will be shouting at me saying all the time, we've been guilty of taking 5 passes, Sarah, when one is needed. And it's slow tempo. And like the manager says, useless side-to-side passes. Or something. Oh, I did love it, because how many times have we... Yes. How many times have we sat and said the tempo's not good enough, it's not fast enough, they don't build up quick enough, and it's been the same complaint, and it's almost been difficult to do. This is the first pod we've done together, Sarah, where we've actually been able to be positive about a complete performance. We've been here before when they beat Livingston 4-0 twice, and we've said, yeah, great 15 minutes. Then we got bogged down between this horrible 60 minutes in between where we could have conceded, we've not really done enough, and then we've finished strongly. That today was complete throughout, and not only was it complete throughout, we could have added more goals. We could have got 6 today, and nobody could have sat and said, you know, that was unlucky. You know, Raskin went clean through at the end, should have done better. I don't know why he took so long. Lammers hits the post from, you know, almost in the penalty spot. And they were that's only 2 that spring to mind. We had more. Dessers had a couple of half chances as well. So we could have got, and I think it's nice to actually sit and record a podcast and be grounded and say, right, it's still the same players. It might be a honeymoon period. There's still a lot to come. But we've got every right to be sitting here and saying, if that's what he can do in 4 days, and that's the kind of message he can get across, then what's he going to do in 4 months?
Stevie, just a quick mention as well for Ross McCausland, obviously getting more minutes today. Very good performance in Paisley the other week as well. The manager obviously likes to kind of promote youth. It's something that you've spoken about. You buzzing for him?
Yeah, well, we sponsor him, first of all, so there's that wee selfish point. You really want him to do well and kick on, but he's there on merit. I think he's got something about him. Whether or not the manager can harness that and really bring it out is an interesting one. I hope he can. I think that there's some real promise there, and he's a direct winger, which we don't have. So he's got an opportunity. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing to see him do well. But I'm buzzing for all our youth. You know, you look at Bailey Rice coming in. I say he's towers over me, but Zach Lovelace, and well, mostly absolutely. But you know, we've got Zach Lovelace and things as well. So I you know, it's not all negative. There is some real shoots of encouragement in that youth side. And I think that Ross McCausland's got a chance here. It's nice to see him getting a new contract and things as well. So it's all positive for me.
As well, yeah, definitely. You obviously missed the manager's unveiling at the start of the week, so this was your first meeting with him today. How did you think he was in the press conference? What were your first impressions of him?
Yeah, he's stern, isn't he? Yeah. I think that's a nice word for him. He's going to be difficult to pierce through. In terms of, in a press conference, you used to be able to get really kind of direct questions at Gio, you used to be able to get direct questions at Michael Beale. I don't think you can here, Sarah. I think that, you know, I asked him, everybody will have heard the press conference by now, I asked him if he's impressed by the tempo, and he fired it back very sternly at me saying, well, were you impressed? And I felt like saying, well, yeah, have you not seen our games? So
Norden dog.
Yeah, I've
I think
not
it's
seen our performances so far this season, but it's fair to say that he wasn't anywhere near the level of kind of impressed that we were. But that's great for me, you know. If that's his standards and he's going to drive them on, then that's fantastic. Listen, I like Gio. I like Michael Beale. I'm so much more guarded with Philippe Clement because we've been in this position before, and it's not even his fault. I think it's just because we're now sitting 3 managers in 2 years, and I don't want to get on board with this one prematurely like I have done before. But what we've seen today and what I heard from him, I'm very impressed so far. He seems like a guy that's no nonsense. He seems like a guy, you know, I don't want to say stern in a bad way, but he has a presence. He feels like
he's the boss.
Like he's a boss, yeah. And I think that's completely fair.
Yeah.
You obviously met him during the week and you spoke to him off camera and things like that. What are your impressions of him?
I have to say I like him. He does have an air of authority about him. Like, you know, when he walks into a room, you kind of know that he's in charge, and he does sort of like command your attention in a way that everybody kind of sits up and takes notice of him. One thing that he pressed upon us on Tuesday when we met him was the synergy, which was again mentioned, the synergy between the team and the support. The UB doing their tifo today, the big display, Dessler's getting cheered as he was getting substituted coming off the park, the 4 goals. I think the support will get behind the team when the team play well, and I know there's a balance to be struck that we will the team on at the same time, but if it could be more like this going forward, I think we'll see some good performances from this team under this new management. So,
yeah,
looking forward to it.
I think, look, it's nice to be sitting here and have positives to discuss. 4 nice goals, as you said, everything about the performance, atmosphere at times and stuff like that, and realise, it's less than a week into this. So if that's the first glimpse, and we've got to be careful because we don't want to big it up too much, and we know what's happened before, but I think it's okay to be sitting here after a result and performance like that and be happy and actually enjoy the fact that we've managed to record the podcast into this, and finally it's a little bit positive. And dare I say it, maybe we'll have stuff to look forward to, because if that's 4 days in, say it quietly, maybe we're going to start to see and get to the places we want to go.
Our next run of games are not easy by any means. You know, we've got a League Cup final coming up, we've got an away trip to Prague next week as well, which I have to say I'm absolutely buzzing for. The manager touched on it as well, said that the Sparta Prague manager at the moment is a guy that he used to play with. He's a manager that he knows well. He's been impressed with their European performances, so that's not going to be an easy game by any means, but I'm excited by what we're potentially going to get, so looking forward to it.
Episode 5 we'll record next week after Hearts. Let's hope it's another positive result. Until then, folks, speak to you soon. Sarah, thank you.
Thank you, take care.